At some point in life, we all face an emptiness, a strange sensation, as if the life we're living isn't the only one we should be living. Each of us carries within a flame, a calling that often we ignore or fear, the call to something greater, to a change that takes us out of our comfort zone and pushes us into the unknown. But what is this calling? Where does it come from? And how can we recognize it? Throughout history, heroes from all cultures have gone through a similar journey, facing challenges, overcoming fears, and transforming along the way. And perhaps, as you listen to this story, you will begin to realize that your own journey, your own search for meaning and transformation is only just beginning. This is the moment to look within, to confront your own fears, your own limits, and perhaps, just perhaps, you will discover that you are about to embark on your own hero's journey. In the beginning, there was silence, not emptiness, but the calm before the storm. And then the call came. Lucas was an ordinary man, or so he thought. His life was a predictable cycle: wake up, work, go home, and repeat. But something inside him screamed, a subtle discomfort, a feeling that something was wrong, that his existence was a faded echo of what it could be. He ignored this restlessness, just as most people do, until one day fate forced his hand. That morning, as he opened his eyes, Lucas felt something different, an invisible weight, a silent call, as if the universe was waiting for him to make a decision. That was when he found the letter, an envelope with no sender, resting on his coffee table. Inside, only one sentence: "The world does not remember those who never awaken." There was no signature, no explanation, but something inside him recognized the truth within those words. From that moment on, Lucas began to notice things he had previously ignored. The lost gazes of people on the street, the empty smiles on the subway, the weight of days that seemed to drag on without purpose. And for the first time, he asked himself, what am I doing with my life? The question was a spark, igniting something dormant in his soul. Seeking answers, Lucas discovered ancient texts about the hero's journey. He found that all great myths followed a pattern, a call to adventure, a trial, a rebirth. What if his life was exactly that? A journey he had been refusing for years. Fascinated, he delved into Carl Jung's philosophy and the archetypes that shaped the human psyche. He discovered that within him existed the hero, but also the shadow, the part he avoided, the fears that controlled him. Guided by this new perspective, he decided to step out of his predictable routine. He started saying yes to challenges he would have previously avoided, a course on something he had always wanted to learn, a conversation with a stranger, a different path home. And with each small step, something inside him grew stronger. But every journey has its trials. The first great trial came in the form of fear, the fear of failure, of judgment, of change. He felt the weight of these invisible chains trying to pull him back to the comfort of the familiar. But then he found the words of Marcus Aurelius: "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If fear was just a thought, he could control it. And so he began practicing Stoicism. He learned that he could not control the world, but he could control his reaction to it. That pain was inevitable, but suffering was optional. That obstacles were not barriers, but steps towards something greater. Armed with this new understanding, Lucas faced his second trial, solitude. As he changed, he realized that some people were left behind, Friendships based on stagnation began to crumble. He felt isolated, questioned whether he was on the right path. But then he remembered what he had read. The tree that grows alone in the desert develops deeper roots. And so, he continued. The final trial came in the form of failure. A major project he had bet everything on collapsed before his eyes. He felt despair, the urge to return to his old self, to give up. But then he realized the truth. Failure was part of the journey. Every hero falls before rising. It was in that moment that he understood the journey was never about winning, but about transforming. When Lucas looked back, he saw that he was no longer the same man who had received that letter. He had changed, not because he had won every battle, but because he had become someone capable of facing them. The man who had started the journey had died, and in his place, someone new had emerged. And this, he realized, was the true victory. But the journey never ends. Now awakened, Lucas knew that life was made of multiple stages, each bringing new challenges. He no longer sought a happy ending, but constant evolution. Because the one who stops growing stops living. And so, his story continues. And perhaps, just perhaps, this is your story too.